Wonka a murderer who works for the Joker? Or is he a time-traveling wizard? And what's the deal with Oompa Loompas? These are some of the biggest secrets of the mysterious Willy Wonka. Starting with secret number 1. Wonka is a wizard? I want to live
something
there.
of a magician, inventor,
Magician, inventor, chocolate maker. Already feeling like a wizard to me. Look, he's making a potion like a wizard. Did that not look like Diagon Alley in Harry Potter? That's probably because the same people who worked on Harry Potter are working on this movie. He has an idea. Light bulb. Also kind of magical, right? See, the producer of Harry Potter, there's gotta be magic. Levitation spells. Okay, I definitely think this is a confirmed secret. I mean, this new movie is made by the same producers of Harry Potter. He has chocolate that helps you fly. I definitely believe Wonka is a magical wizard. Secret number 2. Willy Wonka poisons people? What? He just makes good candy.
Here's the dark secret behind Willy Wonka. You see, before Wonka got famous, he actually did some very terrible stuff in his life.
Like what?
From a young age, Wonka loved candy and he wanted every other kid to be obsessed as well. So before he started his candy factory, he started mixing poison into all of the chocolate.
Prove it.
Every single day, he would mix so much poison that it would actually make kids addicted to it. This poison was a special type of poison that made the chocolate taste that much better.
What?
However, even after he built his chocolate factory,
No.
Wonka continued to do this terrible method. And
Prove
even
it.
nowadays, when people buy Willy Wonka's candy, there's a certain amount of poison still in the chocolate.
Okay, I am so sorry, sir, but that is absolutely incorrect. This secret I disagree with. Secret number 3. Is Wonka a murderer? What?
You know the Willy Wonka theory?
No.
What?
Okay, so we all know the story of Willy Wonka and the chocolate factory, but what if I
Yes.
told you it's not what you think?
What do you mean?
Okay, so I saw a video by Fear Lumacy, and there's a theory that Willy Wonka is actually a killer.
How is he a killer?
How?
Okay, so in the 1971 film, we have 4 spoiled children. We have Mike,
True.
Augustus, Violet, and Veruca. And they all fall to temptation in rooms that cater to their liking. Like Mike in the
That's
TV
true.
room or Violet with the gum. It's almost as if it were planned. And Willy Wonka barely
Handpicked.
tries to help or stop the kids.
Yeah, it does seem like it was planned.
Yeah, and after each kid fails, we never see them in the movie
true.
again, so we don't know what happens to them. So the theory is that in the 1971 version, Willy Wonka kills the children because he feels it's the only way to get rid of greedy people. But they had to change that in the 2005 version of the movie.
Willy Wonka's just been canceled.
Okay, I definitely didn't think I'd believe this secret, but now I do. It's like, if Wonka picked Charlie because he believed him to be a good kid, he also picked the other kids because he was bad and wanted to punish them for their bad behavior. And he literally, like they just mentioned, catered each room to those bad kids. As you can see in some of these scenes, like Wonka doesn't do much to help the kids, especially with Augustus Gloop. Wow, I didn't expect to believe this one. Secret number 4. It looks like it wasn't just the factory that Wonka left with Charlie Bucket. Is he going to become the next murderer?
Another movie reference is to Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, which is probably like the most legendary horror film scene in history.
Definitely.
And if you haven't seen the movie or the show,
I don't want
Norman
to.
Bates is the one going crazy with the knife. Now this is super ironic though, because the actor that plays Charlie in this movie, he's Freddie Highmore, and he would grow up to be Norman Bates from the Bates Motel.
What?
The guy with the knife.
No way.
This guy will become that guy in just a matter of years.
I don't know that I see that this secret really connects fully to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but the actor who played Charlie as a little kid did become quite scary in another movie. Secret number 5. According to Just the Nobodies, they think that Willy Wonka's game was rigged. This one makes me really sad. I hope it's not true, but let's see.
We all know the story of Willy Wonka and how Charlie ends up getting the chocolate factory in the end.
Right.
But what if I told you Willy Wonka actually handpicked the
satisfying.
winner from the beginning?
How?
So remember at the beginning of the movie how we see Charlie buys like a
does
chocolate
seem really
candy, and
happy.
as he's leaving he realizes he has 1 quarter left,
Yes.
and he feels like he should buy like a candy for Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
But before Charlie could pick a candy for
Yes.
Grandpa Joe, the worker grabs a Wonka bar, handpicks it, and gives it to Charlie and makes him buy it. So Charlie buys the Wonka bar, but keep in mind this is a day before the big
True.
like chocolate factory event.
Oh, so the worker knew.
So there's
And it
a
was
theory that Willy
handpicked.
Wonka actually picked Charlie to win before he even bought the candy bar. So I saw on Reddit and like the original book and the
Interesting.
original movie Willy Wonka, you see how Willy Wonka has a bunch of different employees, like we see with Slugworth, and also the
And they all,
Candyman
like,
Bill
know
could
him
also
already.
be one of his workers. So the name Bill is also short for
True.
William and Willie. And in the Broadway play, the person that plays Willy Wonka
Oh.
also plays the Candyman in the store Bill, showing that it's Willy Wonka all along.
What? That was fascinating. I actually believe this one. See, if you watch his expression here, he already felt like he knew Charlie, and the Candyman specifically chose this bar for Charlie. So maybe Willie had been, you know, trying to scout out who he wanted to win. But why wouldn't he pick a girl? That leads us into our next secret. Secret number 6. Why did he choose a boy instead of a girl? Let's see.
Is that there's a small mistake that can be seen while the Candyman is singing his song.
Yes.
Because if you look closely, you can spot a little girl that gets hit under the chin by accident when he lifts up the countertop.
Okay, guys, I don't believe this secret, to be honest. I totally think that was just an accident that happened while they were filming. I think Wonka loves all kids equally, and that one's silly. Secret number 7. The children who disappeared in Willy Wonka's factory actually agreed to it. What?
Before Wonka begins his tour of the factory, he insists that the
that's true,
children
they do sign a
waiver,
paper.
which is illegal since the children are minors. And most of the contract isn't even legible except
No
for
way
the
those
first
kids
clause,
read this thing.
which states that the management won't be held responsible for any damage caused by natural disasters or
that's
frippery, which, in case you were wondering, is defined as unnecessary ornamentation, which pretty much describes
That
the whole
entire
chocolate factory. Well played, Wonka. Well played.
That's creepy. Okay, I don't believe that they actually were fine with disappearing forever in this chocolate factory. It's just the fact that the kids didn't want to read a huge legal document, and Willy Wonka wanted to cover his booty so he didn't get in trouble. Secret number 8. Wonka works for the Joker? Okay, so this is from Crazy Nate. Let's see what he has to say.
Batman, Joker used a dangerous poison to force smiles onto people's faces, and that poison was called Smilex.
Smilex, okay.
In Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Mr. Bucket worked at a toothpaste company and made people have
Very
great
white.
white smiles, and the name of that toothpaste company was Smilex.
No way!
Almost the same. Obviously a reference.
There's no way that that secret isn't true. I mean, same name, and Johnny Depp has like extra white teeth and doesn't stop that creepy smile that entire movie. Secret number 9. According to film theory, Mr. Beast was wrong about his chocolate river.
Safety concerns aside, let's go back to what gets said during the Mr. Beast video.
Who would have thought a river made of chocolate is not very practical?
Is this a practical way of producing chocolate? Well, this is what Wonka has to say about the chocolate waterfall,
Let's
the
hear it.
supposed crown jewel of his factory.
The most fantastic thing I've ever seen.
10,000
It is pretty.
gallons an hour. And look at my waterfall.
A lot of
That's the most
gallons.
important thing. It's actually churning my chocolate.
10,000 gallons an hour, you say. Is that actually realistic? But the real question here is whether the waterfall is up to the task of mixing all of
That
Wonka's
would be
chocolate.
so
I mean, we
cool.
just established that the waterfall could handle 10,000 gallons an hour, but is that
Strong.
enough for Willy Wonka to maintain a worldwide chocolate empire?
I would
well,
think
I did
so,
some
right?
calculations, and based on the weight and volume of milk chocolate, Wonka's 10,000 gallons an hour translates into over 500 million pounds of chocolate per year.
What?
It's 519.5 million pounds per year to be
Wild.
exact. Meanwhile,
That's
Wonka is
not
over here
many
processing
plants.
all of his chocolate in a single factory. One Wonka
Baller.
factory is the equivalent to like 10 Hershey's factories.
pretty
Huge
baller.
kudos to those Oompa Loompas. The biggest issue of all in this scene, the fact
What?
that using a white water waterfall is the exact opposite of how you'd actually want to mix your
That makes
chocolate.
sense.
You know, no other factory in the world mixes its chocolate by waterfall.
There's a good reason for that,
Why?
Bill. You don't want your chocolate to get all frothy like that. All that white frothiness you
sit
see when
there.
the water hits the boulders at the bottom of the waterfall, and air bubbles are something that you do
Don't
not
want in your
want
chocolate.
within your chocolate. Wonka has a chocolate production process that would enable him to be a world leader. The only
World
problem
leader.
with that is the quality of his chocolate would flat out suck.
I like his chocolate bars. So they were saying that the chocolate river wasn't practical, but it turns out it partially is. But the chocolate would be pretty icky. Secret number 10. What's Wonka's superpower? I believe that it's time travel, and so does Fun Fact Films.
When Willy Wonka is slowly walking toward the factory gates,
Very
time
slowly.
seems to be flying by at a fast pace. Because in one
true.
shot, you can see a huge shadow of a building being cast across the red carpet. But then seconds later, in another
Weird.
shot, the shadow is gone.
What? So he almost like teleported in time. Now there's another thing we could do to prove this theory. There's something called a sundial. I googled what a sundial is, how does it work? The surface of a sundial has markings for each hour of daylight. As the sun moves across the sky, another part of the sundial casts a shadow on these markings. The position of the shadow turns what time it is. So there's the shadow, and we're believing that time travel is happening during this moment, and the shadow has moved back there. I definitely think that Wonka has this superpower. Secret number 11. Oompa Loompas were stolen from their homeland.
Willy Wonka's chocolate factory may seem like a sweet escape, but the Oompa Loompas revealed the bitter truth behind it. The beloved characters from Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory were brought to life in 2 different film adaptations, but both versions hid a dark reality. In the 1971 version, the Oompa Loompas were depicted as small humanoid creatures with orange skin and cartoonish features, while the 2005 version had them as identical workers in flashy clothes.
They were all the
but
same.
both adaptations had one thing in common.
What?
The Oompa Loompas sang cheerful songs that made a mockery of others' suffering, hinting at their unhappy existence.
That's so sad. I mean, can we get a heart in the comments for Oompa Loompas and how hard they work, and they never seem to complain, and they always sing happy songs. Secret number 12. Willy Wonka, the movie, was actually just an advertising scheme. Now, what does that mean? Scheme means it is a plan to achieve something that's secretive. It gives that person something beneficial for them, but people don't realize that's what they're doing. According to this article in People magazine, the film was actually paid for by the Quaker Oats Company. Director Stewart's 10-year-old daughter asked her dad to adapt the book, and coincidentally, his friend producer David L. Wolper was in talks with the Quaker Oats Company to make a film introducing its new candy bar, the Wonka Bar. The company bought the rights to the book and financed the picture, bringing Wonka's name into the title instead of Charlie to make the candy bar tie in more obviously. I mean, it makes sense. They were trying to make money for the company. Secret number 13. According to film theory, Willy Wonka's golden ticket was a complete scam. There would have been a lot of OSHA violations in this factory. Now, I had to look up what an OSHA violation exactly is. It is when a company or employee willingly or unknowingly ignores potential and real safety hazards. But what makes it a scam?
Our grand total comes to 60 OSHA violations.
Woo!
And that's just what you can see in the movie. 60 is very conservative. Now,
that's
like I said at
bad.
the beginning of this episode, Wonka better be selling the heck out of those chocolate bars, because
tasty.
every one of those violations comes with a fine.
Oof.
But now, of course, we come to the real question. How much are those fines gonna cost? Well, according to OSHA, quote, any employer who willfully or
My guess that they're gonna tell us is that he had so many OSHA violations, he had to have this competition.
In conclusion,
What?
Mr. Wonka, we film theorist OSHA investigators find you guilty on every count. And let's face it, probably
Kind of a scam.
dozens more that we don't see in your 90-minute movie. You,
True.
sir, are looking squarely in the eye of that $26.1 million fine.
How do you
or
even have that much money?
$4.2 million in 1971 terms. And if you all watching at home right now think that's bad,
It's
I'm
bad.
not even done. You see, the thing about safety inspectors is that they don't just show up once, fine you, and then leave.
Pay
When
us.
you get fined, you're also given an order to fix whatever issues the
which is
inspector
gonna cost
discovered.
more money
When
to
the
fix.
inspector returns, if they find that you still haven't fixed the problems,
close
then you
you
get
down.
fined again.
Oh.
This is called the failure to abate. In fact, he knows about all these violations
scary
better than
face.
anyone. Willy Wonka realized pretty fast that his factory wasn't
bicycle's
long for
kinda
this
cool.
world, given the way he runs it and how dangerous it is to
Oh.
everyone inside. So Wonka's decision to open his factory to 5 lucky children, a decision that seems to come out of nowhere in the movie,
Willy Wonka's opening his factory. He's gonna let people in.
You
That
sure?
is out of
isn't
nowhere.
actually motivated by a desire to do good or even pass his love of chocolate and candy making secrets on like a legacy. No, it's to offload this dumpster fire of a business
On
onto
someone
one
else?
poor, vulnerable, unsuspecting
That's
child
messed
before
up.
Wonka himself is hit with all these fines.
I had to find a child.
But the truth is that he's actually inheriting Willy Wonka's massive legal trouble and billions of dollars of debt.
That's
He's not the
dirty,
most
and he
pure of
signed his
heart or the
name.
nicest.
All along, the golden ticket was a scam, so Willy Wonka could offset how much money he owed and make this poor, innocent, adorable child have to take over his business that is technically failing behind the scenes. Guys, let me know if you have any other Willy Wonka secrets that you can put in the comments. This is all new to me. Super interesting.